Hey everyone, it's Lucy from KBeautyHobbit.com. Welcome to my channel. It's time for another nail tutorial, and today I'll be showing you one of my favorite brands of all time, HeyHae. I have tons of different nail content on this channel. Check out my playlists. They are by category, or there's one massive nails playlist. And I've done a tutorial for HeyHae before, but since then I've tried it many times. It quickly became one of my most recommended brands. When people ask what are your favorites, this is always ranked in the top 5. So I thought it's worth another tutorial. They've also expanded their collection recently. They're adding more solids, which is something that I was personally wishing for, and I think other people were as well. So let's get going with this. This is not a sponsored video. I do have an affiliate code with them. If you want a discount, it's HeyLucy10, so HeyLucy10. And they did gift me these nails, but with no expectation of content. Do with that information as you will. And as always, I am very honest and sometimes brutally so. We're going to start by prepping the nails. Fair disclosure, my nails are pretty much prepped, I would say, because I filmed another tutorial yesterday and it was an epic fail. This video that I'm filming right now will go up after that one. So if you haven't had a chance to go watch my wake make nail tutorial and the absolute disaster that it was, go ahead and do so. But basically, less than 24 hours ago, I prepped my nails, I trimmed them, I filed them because I had stickers on them. I did all the things and the stickers didn't even last an hour. Coming off of that disappointment, I decided to go with my tried and true favorite HeyHae because I know those will last me 2 weeks, and they've actually lasted me longer than 2 weeks, but usually by that point my nails are quite grown out and it's just not looking very good. It's also generally not recommended to keep nail stickers or press-ons longer than 2 weeks because you are opening yourself up to a chance of moisture getting under there and you ending up with green nails and things like that. You may not even be able to tell it's happening, but it might be happening. So 2 weeks is usually the recommended kind of longest time for wear. After pushing back the cuticle, I'm going to take an included prep pad, which is just an alcohol pad, wipe down everything to remove any excess oil. Before I sat down to film, I washed my hands with soap and water. I dried them. If you have very oily nail beds, you might consider using Dawn dish soap. Some people really like to use nail dehydrators or pure acetone. For me, washing and doing the prep pad here is enough. Here are the nails that we get. You will notice that the design is a bit more see-through around the edges. That is on purpose. It gives it that real gel look after application. It's a dome design, meaning the edges are going to be a bit thinner than the middle, again for realism purposes. This brand is also interesting because they say that you don't have to use a light to cure these. If you wanted to simply go out in the sun, you can do that. But I very rarely spend that much intentional time in the sun, to be honest. If I'm not filming, I am usually doing my nails right before bed, which is the best time because it gives your hands a good amount of time to just kind of be dry, you know, not doing dishes hopefully at night, etc., etc. I just feel like it prolongs wear. So I will be using a lamp, but just so you know, it's an option not to use the lamp. Okay, I peeled off the nail sticker that is the size that I need. I am lining up the edge of the nail with my cuticle as close as I can without going over the skin. And I'm going to drop it gently, like so, and make sure that it's straight up and down. It looks pretty straight to me, so now I'm just going to smush it down with my thumb. I really need this manicure to last, which is why I am choosing to use HeyHae versus trying a new to me brand. Not to say that I'm unsure of the new brands. There are probably some good ones, and I have different options on what to film next. But coming off of the horrible disappointment of yesterday, I wanted to make sure that I have a good, long-lasting manicure. Plus, I can't really say that everybody watches every one of my videos, so even if you've been following the channel for a while, you may never have seen the HeyHae tutorial, and maybe this one will capture your attention. The goal with picking the sticker sizes is to get close to your true size without going over. You don't want these to be wider than your nail, but you also don't want them to be so narrow that you can see a lot of the nail on the sides. If you see a sliver of the nail on the side, that's usually okay. but it just depends on your personal preference. I would say if in doubt, a little bit too narrow is better than too wide as far as longevity goes. But I know for me personally, if it's too narrow, if I can see too much of a nail, it really drives me bonkers. So I tend to redo the whole nail if that happens. You can use a trick. This is a rubber tip cuticle pusher. I always recommend using this with any nail sticker. But if you have a bit of a nail showing on the side, and if it's the kind of nail sticker that can be stretched, and HeyHae is one of those stickers, you can take your rubber point cuticle pusher and just very gently but firmly push on this, not just down but out to the side. And sometimes you can stretch the sticker that way a bit and cover a little bit more of a surface area. If you're very new to nail stickers, or maybe you're not great at eyeballing the sizes, I'm getting better at it. Sometimes I still miss. But if you're really unsure that you're picking the right size and if it's stressing you out, what you could do is take some tape, just a basic opaque like Scotch tape. Maybe your kids have some in their school supplies, or get some. Maybe you have some in your school supplies. I don't know how old everybody is, but you could take a piece of tape and put it on your nail bed and then outline your nail shape exactly. Take off the tape, stick it to a piece of paper, and cut out the result. And what you are going to be left with is a tiny replica of your nail, and then you can hold it up to the stickers and see which ones would fit. Or you could even put it over a slightly wider sticker and trim the excess. Just be careful trimming these because they are a domed design, because they're thinner on the edges. If you have to trim a whole bunch, make sure you're trimming off of both sides, but just know that you're going to be affecting basically the shape of the sticker, possibly the design. You're going to lose some of that beautiful ombre that they have going on the sides. Here's the next one. Now, I am on purpose showing you kind of a real-time application of this whole hand, and I know that sometimes the viewer retention is not the best when I am showing a ton of detail. So it's kind of a fine line between editing the video down for viewer retention purposes and our shortened attention spans. But also, I really don't like the official brand videos or some influencer videos that show people slapping the stickers on in like 20 seconds and being done. That's not reality. What I'm showing you is how long it takes. It takes me less time than it will probably take you if you're very new. I've been doing nail stickers for a decade, but it shouldn't take you very, very long either. Once you put the entire hand on, or you can do this one by one, you want to trim it. Do not trust the videos that show you people applying these, curing them, and then trimming them. That's a great way to crack your nail sticker. You want to trim it before you cure. I really should probably figure out how to do one of those reaction style videos where people show like a TikTok video or an Instagram reel or stuff like that on the screen and they talk about it, because the amount of absolutely terrible nail application videos that I see on my For You page, and they're the official brand videos a lot of the times, oof, it just makes me cringe. Maybe I'm just a hater, I don't know. Okay, anyway, we're going to clip or trim off all of them. I use manicure scissors. These are just regular curved manicure scissors by the German brand Zinger. I've owned these since I was 6 or 7. They're still going strong. But Zinger still makes scissors. So you can still buy that brand, I think on Amazon. I think I just bought my mom like last year maybe a set. I use those. But you can definitely use nail clippers if that's what you're familiar with. And just make sure that you are getting the bulk off, but it doesn't have to be perfect. So I have a little edge here that's kind of sharp. I could just cut that off too, or I could leave it, because after we cure these, we're going to go ahead and file them and shape them, and all of those little imperfections will be gone. What you want to take off is the bulk of the length. Here's what these look like after I cured them and after I filed off just a little bit of the imperfections. Because I only recently trimmed my nails, they were very short as it is. I really didn't do any shaping or anything like that with the filing, just smoothed out the rough edges. And I can't remember if I showed this, but in case I forgot, After I smush down the stickers with my thumb, I always go over the edges with one of these. This is a rubber tip cuticle pusher. I show this in every video, but again, maybe this is the only video of mine that you'll ever see, so I want to make sure you have a complete application tutorial regardless of the brand you're using. Since I cured these under the lamp, we could stop here, but I like to do a couple additional steps. At the very minimum, I do a top coat, but right now I have these fun little things. They're called dewdrops. And they're from HeyHae as well, but you can use them on any brand. They come in a silver variety. Then I had kind of a milky, like translucent Aurora type ones that I showed in my first video several months ago. I really wanted to use these ones though. These ones are little color ones. This is what they look like. They are UV cured as well, but you don't have to cure them by themselves. You put them on the sticker and then you cure them after you apply the top coat. Or you can do the sun thing, but the sun will not cure the top coat, so if you're using a top coat, you definitely need a lamp unless your top coat is just regular polish. I already did my right hand. You might peek a couple here, so don't be surprised. I did my right hand off camera because I wanted to test these. And earlier today, I also did my toenails. I just painted them with regular polish and then I put these on them, so that's why some of them are missing. These are very difficult to get off of the page, especially the ones in this rectangle here, because they are cut out of the rectangle, but everything around them is also a sticker, as opposed to these here, they are just kind of by themselves. They are just on top of the film, but these ones are embedded almost in a gel sticker. The best way that I found to get them out, and this is why I did one hand off camera, is by using tweezers. The set does include a little orange stick, but that's really not easy to use at all. So I'm going to do, I did hearts on my right hand. I'll show you here in a second. I don't know if I want to do hearts on this one as well and have them match, or if I want to do stars on this one. I think I'll do stars on this, just so they're not all matchy-matchy. Let's see. I think the pink, let's see, maybe the pink and the purple blends too much. This is hard, you guys. Okay, I'll do the blue one. So the best way I found is to kind of fold it a little bit and then get in there with the tweezers and try to pick it out like that. There we go. Okay. Once you get hold of it, it's not hard after that. So pull it off like this, okay? And then I'm gonna do I want to do the ring finger on this one? Or I'll do the middle finger. Put it there, just drop it, and then push it down. And pushing it down makes it a little bit matte on top, but then it looks just fine and glossy and shiny after everything's cured and the top coat is there. Now we're going to do the top coat. In case you're wondering why I'm wearing these really intense orange gloves, that's a UV glove. It just blocks all the UV while I do the lamp. For the top coat, we're going to use this Dashing Diva One Gel Magnetic Sheer. It's super pretty. It is this sheer magnet activated, very fine shimmer of glitter. I really like it. I only used it a couple of times before, and I thought it would look really good because this is a solid color. On one of my recent videos, somebody asked, how do I cap a free edge when I have really short nails? This is how. You have to grab the skin, the meat of the fingernail, and pull it back and then cap the free edge. But also, if your nails are so short that your skin extends, the meat, the fingertip extends past maybe your nail, like if you're a biter, something like that, if you chew your nails or if you have some kind of injury, I think it's okay not to cap the free edge. You could skip the top coat altogether, or if you have a top coat that is some sort of glitter shimmer that adds something to your manicure, you can go ahead and still do that, but don't cap the free edge. Simply paint the top coat on your nail. For the nails with the stickers, what I do is I first take the brush and go into the spaces between the stickers. You want to have enough top coat on your brush to really be able to get into the nooks and crannies, but not so much that you have pooling and spilling or that you get it on the skin. Now, knowing this, you can choose to strategically place the sticker closer to the free edge so you don't have to do so much maneuvering around the cuticle. I did cap this off camera, the free edge. I went over it. Once I get all the nooks and crannies, I then go ahead and paint over these 3D decal stickers, the stars. And then if I have any pooling, without redipping the brush, I turn it and sort of smooth out the pooling because I don't want anything, like I don't want a big glob anywhere. If you get any on your cuticle, go ahead and wipe it off with a brush dipped in nail polish remover, or you can use a wipe, like a rubbing alcohol wipe, depending on where you spilled. You want to clean up any spills, anything that went on the skin before you cure it. And try not to get gel on the skin. That's typically how people end up with a gel allergy. This next part is really difficult to show on camera. I'll attempt. You have this magnetic wand that comes with the top coat, and then by turning it different ways and applying it differently to the nail, it affects what the glitter does. Once you're happy with that, once you're happy with how the glitter is, you can go ahead and cure the nails. Here's the finished look. You can see a bit of that top coat iridescence here, but trust me, in the sunlight, in the natural light, it looks absolutely magical. And if you want a more dramatic effect, you can even do 2 coats of the top coat. I didn't want to do that here because I already have these 3D stickers. There's enough going on. Here's my other hand, the little hearts. I absolutely adore HeyHae. They last so well on me. It's one of the few brands where I usually don't get any sort of cuticle issues like lifting, snagging, even if I don't use the squish light. So it's a great beginner-friendly brand. I mean, it probably depends somewhat on your nail shape, on your skill level, etc., but I find that these never ever do me wrong. They're just always perfect and they last so well. And this is typically one of the brands that I reach for when I'm not filming, when I just want to do my nails and I don't have to be trying something new, because obviously I can't keep filming the same brands over and over for the channel. You guys want to see something new, I want to try something new, but it's good to go back to the tried and true faves that I know always perform their best. I actually added 2 new playlists to my channel today. One is the nail fails and one is the nail faves, because people do ask me, what are your favorite ones, what can you recommend, and I basically keep recommending the same like 5 to 10 brands. So I thought it might be easier to put all the really good ones in their own playlist and then put the ones that I don't recommend to anybody into their own playlist. And hopefully that's helpful. But of course, feel free to ask me questions. I'm always happy to answer. Thank you very much for joining me today. You can find me on Instagram at KBeautyHobbit, my blog, KBeautyHobbit.com, and my private Facebook group, Korean Beauty Fanatics. I hope to see you in my next video. And until then, have a wonderful week. Thanks.